We at Crest respectfully acknowledge the past and present traditional stewards of this land, which was historically inhabited by the Indigenous peoples of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri nations, who have lived in the area now known as Casey. We are thankful to God for the traditional custodians of this land, and we wish to pay respect to the elders, past, present and future, and further acknowledge the important role the Indigenous people continue to play within our wider community. My name is Olivia Woodruff and I'm the Advancement Director for Crest Education. It is my pleasure to welcome you not just to this presentation, but to the Crest community. We understand the careful thought, research and planning that goes into choosing a school for your children, and so we count it a privilege that you've chosen to partner with us in the education of your children, and we are very much looking forward to you joining our community. The purpose of this presentation is to share a little more with you about who we are as Crest, what we stand for, and the importance we place on partnership with you as parents. Throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat, or if you'd prefer, contact our registrars directly and we'll do our best to respond to these questions. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Brendan Kelly, our Executive Principal, Ms. Christine Lucas, our Head of Rivercrest and Hillcrest Christian Colleges, and Dr Maria Varlet, Head of Research and Innovation.
Hello, I'm Brendan Kelly and it is my great privilege to be the Executive Principal here at Crest Education. Crest is a community that you now belong to, where our vision, mission and goals are unified so that we can deliver leading, quality Christian education. I want to thank each one of our families for choosing Crest to partner with you in the education of your precious children.
And I'm Christine Lucas, Head of Rivercrest and Hillcrest Christian Colleges. Thank you for joining us for our Crest New Parent Induction session. I'm so looking forward to meeting all of our new students across the colleges. I'm also equally looking forward to developing strong and positive relationships with the families of our students. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Crest.
I'm Dr Maria Varlet, and it's my pleasure to share with you some further information about Crest, our vision, our mission, what Christian education means to us, and how we understand our relationship with you as parents and guardians. You've enrolled your children into either Rivercrest or Hillcrest Christian College, and by doing so, you've become part of the Crest family. Crest stands for Centres of Research, Education, Service and Transformation. And Crest Education Limited is comprised of Hillcrest Christian College, Rivercrest Christian College, Air Hill Equestrian Centre, Crest Institute and an environmental reserve, all on our 138-acre property. Crest Education has company members, and at some point you might like to consider becoming a member if you meet the criteria. We're governed by a board of directors, and we have an executive principal and a leadership team. The vision of Crest Education is to be a leading provider of quality Christian education, delivered by Christian staff, equipping students for a life of faithful service. And our mission is to partner with parents and the wider community to help develop within each student the desire and capacity to discover and fulfil the will of God for their lives. Crest Education is committed to employing best teaching and learning practices as reflected in current educational literature and research, and which are in line with our underpinning biblical ethos. In the New Parents Resource Booklet, which has been emailed to you, you'll find a link to this document which unpacks the Crest principles for quality Christian education. I'm now going to give you just a very brief overview of our 5 Crest key strategic priorities, and these are further outlined in the document. The first of our strategic priorities is to ensure that our young people are appropriately equipped for all aspects of their lives beyond school. We do this by ensuring that we have a good understanding of the skills and attributes that our students will need, both in the future workforce and to be successful in their personal lives. Our second priority is to ensure that we focus on the God-given potential of each learner so that each student is able to realise their potential. We do this by having strategies to assist in identifying potential, by differentiating our curriculum and delivery, and by having a growth mindset for each student. That means we believe that every student can grow and develop, and that growth is just as important as achievement. Our third priority is to ensure that our systems, structures, processes, policies and spaces all serve the needs of our schooling. We are continually striving to ensure that the needs of students come first, and we develop structures to meet these needs. Priority number 4 is about ensuring that all students and teachers are empowered and have agency in their learning and in their work. We place great importance on student and teacher wellbeing, knowing that this is a key prerequisite for quality learning. We also have a strong focus on professional learning to ensure that all of our staff are supported, equipped and current in their practice. Our final priority is to continue to develop strategic partnerships and relationships that will enhance learning, including opportunities for our students. We want our students to learn in real-world contexts, and we want to bring the expertise of the broader community into our schools. This means, for example, partnering with not-for-profit and mission organisations, the local council, tertiary providers and local businesses. Crest Education is part of a national association, Christian Schools Australia, which is made up of over 170 schools supporting some 10,000 staff and 75,000 students across Australia. This short video, which highlights footage from Crest, gives a glimpse of what's important to CSA schools like ours.
For us, the reason our children attend a Christian school is pretty simple, really. Christian schools have a focus on building a belonging community that not only aims to nurture academic students, but fosters Christ-like young people to be equipped to face the world with integrity, intelligence, and grace. With around 170 schools, 10,000 staff, and 75,000 students right across Australia, Christian schooling has existed for a long time. But beyond their rich heritage, our school partners with us in instilling biblical values within a Christian framework. They do this by employing Christian staff and teaching from a biblical worldview, modelling Christ in word and action alongside their classroom teaching. For our children, this enables them to see the biblical story of creation, fall, redemption and restoration authentically integrated into every element of their school life. Christian Schools Australia not only invests in the individual, but also in our community as a whole by making their schools accessible to as many families as possible, particularly in urban and regional areas and to low-fee independent schools, enabling families a place to belong and flourish. This gives our children a place where they can look beyond themselves and see their purpose and value in God's world.
As outlined earlier, our mission is to partner with parents and the wider community to help to develop within each student the desire and the capacity to discover and fulfil the will of God for their lives. Before I talk a little about what that partnership might look like, I just want to pose this question. Who is responsible for educating your children? The answer may seem obvious, but I want to affirm that here at Crest, our belief is that you, as parents and guardians, are responsible for your children. And our goal is to support you in your responsibility to raise your children. We believe that children are a gift from God, given to us from God, and that God calls us to take care of them. A key image found throughout the Bible is that of the shepherd. The Bible talks about leaders shepherding their flock, and I think that parents too are like shepherds for their children. Think for a minute about what shepherds do and compare that to your role as parents. First of all, shepherds are responsible for feeding the flock, and I'm sure as parents you feel like you spend a lot of your time and energy feeding your children. Secondly, shepherds lead their flocks. They have to keep their flocks together. Importantly, shepherds protect the flock. And when one of their flock goes astray, they bring it back in, they rescue their lost sheep. And finally, shepherds are responsible for correcting the flock. Our belief is that God expects us not only to take care of our children physically, but we're to care for our children spiritually and emotionally as well. And this is what we at Crest are partnering with you to do. We see our role as supporting you in your responsibility of shepherding your children, and it's about much more than academic growth. It's a holistic endeavour. So what does this partnership between you and Crest look like? Well, first and foremost, it looks like your involvement in your child's learning, and that's going to look very different at very different age levels. And I'm sure this year and last year you feel like your involvement's been taken to a whole new level. The second key element of partnership is about communication. On page 5 of the New Parent Handbook, you'll find a link to the Crest Community Charter for Parents. This document's part of a longer document, which you'll be able to see online. These documents outline our commitment to you and what you can expect of us. This includes the manner in which we will engage with you and serve you, as well as how we'll respond to your concerns. The Charter also covers our expectations of parents and provides detailed information on the process for resolving concerns and complaints. We encourage all our parents to be familiar with this document. Open, honest and timely communication between school and home is something that's really important to us. To tell you about ways to stay in touch with what's happening at school, for ways to be involved, as well as other practical information, I'm now going to hand back over to our Director of Advancement, Mrs. Olivia Woodruff.
The main medium for communication to and from the colleges is our online portal, which is called Crest Connect. This short clip will show you how it works. In the information booklet, you will find further instructions regarding how to set up your Crest Connect login. We also have our college social media pages. You might want to like our Facebook pages and YouTube channels as a way to keep up to date with our news and events. Other ways to get involved include the Community Association. The CA promotes and develops a spirit of cooperation and support between Hillcrest and Rivercrest families and their respective community. Our colleges have a vibrant community association. Our CA facilitates meaningful and practical initiatives within Crest. Melanie van der Westhausen is our Community Development Officer. She coordinates our community association and college prayer groups throughout the week. Noon's Imagewear is our official supplier of our college uniforms. You'll find shop hours and purchase options in the flyer of the resource document you've been sent. You'll also find information on second-hand uniforms and books in the flyer as well. For second-hand uniforms, we utilise our Facebook groups, and for those who don't have Facebook, we use sustainableschoolshop.com.au for pre-loved items. Busing at Hillcrest and Rivercrest. You'll find the suburb service in our flyer. Run routes are formulated annually on the expressions of interest received at the end of the preceding year, so they may vary from the current runs. We partner with Ventura and utilise their Busminder service, which allows real-time tracking via the app. Students tap on and tap off with their cards, and parents can choose to receive notifications alerting them when their child has tapped on and off the bus and shows the bus location. With real-time tracking, you have the ability to view exactly where the bus is whilst en route. Expressions of interest will be sent out to all families in Term 4. If you have any questions at all over the coming weeks, please don't hesitate to get in contact with our registrars, who you can see here. Our friendly and knowledgeable registrars are happy to assist or will point you in the direction if it is a query for another department. We know that this year has been very limited in terms of opportunities for you to come on site. So the last thing we have for you tonight is a short video which gives you a glimpse of the beautiful learning spaces your child will enjoy next year. We look forward to meeting you on campus. Thank you for attending our Crest New Parent Induction session.